Donald Trump's nephew, Fred Trump, is breaking his decades-long silence in a brand new memoir that casts new light on the Trump family. He says, in part, quote, "Up until now, I have stayed stubbornly quiet, even as those around me took their pot shots. But silence is golden only when there is nothing that needs to be said." Fred Trump is now saying many things about his uncle, including that Donald Trump uses people based on their race to his advantage. The Trump camp, of course, responding to this, saying, quote, "This is completely fabricated and totally fake news of the highest order. It is appalling," they say, "a lie so blatantly disgusting that it can be printed in media." Anyone who knows President Trump knows he would never use such language in false stories like this, and they have been thoroughly debunked. This is nothing more than a cheap shot to sell copies of a book that belongs in the bargain bin of the fiction section. So you've heard all that. Fred Trump is joining me now. You have heard some of these insults slung at you before, I am sure. Your new book titled All in the Family, The Trumps and How We Got This Way. You've talked about this silence of yours. Why now? What is left to say? Because a lot has been said about your uncle.
Oh, sure. Through the decades. I was in the rough and tumble real estate world for 35 years, but I always tried to keep a low profile. I just wanted to do my job. I have a wife and 3 great kids. The youngest, William, has complex disabilities. When Donald started running in 2015, we had dead animals thrown on our lawn, reporters coming up to our door unannounced, cars in the driveway, etc. A couple of years ago, William moved into a group home close by, but not in our house. The other 2, Andrea and Christopher, live in the city. So with that safety factor in place, it was time for me to speak up. And the other inspiration for it, if you will, was January 6th, inspiring in a bad way. And Donald had a big role to play in that. So while the book's genesis is to honor my father, Freddie, Donald's older brother, who's a caring and charismatic guy, and William, who is the most courageous and inspirational person I know. I mentioned you're also very inspirational. It was time for me to talk.
What happened with William? He was born with a rare seizure disorder, as I understand it. It affected him physically, it affected him developmentally.
Yes.
What happened when he needed help with paying for going to a facility so that he could live a better life?
It's a long story. I'll boil it down. When my father passed away at the age of 43 in 1981 as a sophomore in college, Donald was named my trustee. After William was born, he spent 7 total weeks in hospital with, yes, a rare genetic mutation called KCNQ2. Donald, my aunts and uncles, my sister, no one visited William in the hospital. Okay, that happens. When we finally got home, there was a letter from Donald's attorney saying that Mary, my sister, and I were, in essence, kicked out of my grandfather's will. If people remember, this is 2000, Donald was in very bad financial straits. And he hatched a scheme that his siblings bought onto to, in essence, take us out. We settled that lawsuit. I like to half joke that Donald always says he's never settled a lawsuit in his life. Well, I guess that makes me a victor of some kind. About 10 years after that, William's expenses are tremendous, as are so many people's expenses. I went to Donald and he put together with my Aunt Marianne a fund. But the way I looked at it, that was my money that I was asking for. It would have been great if he graciously said, "Pal, you don't have to ask for it. Here, whatever you need, you got." Much like when I was doing my advocacy work going down to the White House and in the Oval Office. It would have been great if he said when he got into office in 2017, "I know what you're going through. I know you're advocating on behalf of millions of people who, in essence, are voiceless. Let's do what we can to help." It never really materialized that way.
What did he say to you instead about helping your son?
Well, it was in 2023. The fund was being depleted, and I went to him by phone. I said, "Look, this is what's happening. I need, for William's care, his therapeutic care." He said, "He doesn't recognize you. Let him die and move down to Florida." Now, I don't know how anyone could say that about any other human being, but to say it about your grandnephew, is pretty grotesque. And I said, no, he does recognize me. And I guess my point with this is the person that millions of people want to vote for. I don't understand it. His MAGA base ain't going anywhere. As you all have been reporting, and it's absolutely true, Labor Day's over. I see phrase in people are going to be educated. Anything I can do. And this is policy over politics. This is not a personal thing. I believe in Kamala Harris's policies. Donald's Project 2025, which he has his hands all over.
He has disavowed it.
It's almost like him saying, I had nothing to do with the building of Trump Tower. It's him and his followers and the people that will be in his administration who it will be a dystopian future. I say future, but it will bring us back decades.
So it sounds like you in part wrote this book to warn the public, in your mind, to not vote for your uncle.
Yeah, I mean, again, there are folks that are going to vote for him no matter what. If I'm asked, I will campaign on behalf of the Harris campaign and get the word out. My mom was born in Kalamazoo, Michigan. I'd love to go to Michigan. I went to Lehigh University, as did my dad, as did my son Christopher. Andrew went to school in Philadelphia. I have family in Pennsylvania, very important state. And I say I'm a different kind of Trump. I think I can fit in with any group of people. That's just my personality.
Fred Trump, thank you so much for sharing. I know these stories are really hard to talk about because they are very personal, but they are important. A lot of families are suffering with family members who have disabilities, who have to pay for some of these things, and it is very difficult. Thank you for coming in. And I'm in the midst of reading your book, so I appreciate your time this morning.
Enjoy.